Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So we're going to read Matthew chapter number 6 verse 19. It reads as follows with a King James version, New King James version. It says, do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. Okay, let's start here. The first sentence there until that comma there. Number one, he says for yourselves. Now he's talking about yourself. He's talking about yourself, because it doesn't say do not lay up for God. It doesn't say do not lay up for Christ. It says do not lay up for yourselves. This is about you. In other words, what I'm warning you about, it's about something that is going to affect you personally. All right? Or what I'm trying to show you is that this thing is going to affect you personally if you do it in this way. All right? He says do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth. There is a location. There must be a location that you are laying up your treasure. And also, he uses treasures here. Treasures, in the olden days, you remember treasure, they will be like literal treasure, gold, silver. Usually, when they say bring those treasure or bring that treasure, they will bring a box of like gold, silver. It could be necklaces, it could be rings, it could be bracelets, all those stuff that are made with gold and silver. He's using the treasure because they know about it. All right. Now, treasures on earth. Now there is a location, as I said, on earth. Now, the reason why you must not lay up yourselves treasures on earth, it is because there is moth. That is the next sentence. There is moth and rust, and also there are thieves that can break in and steal, because it is on earth. Okay, now in other words, placing or laying up yourselves treasures on earth, it's a wrong idea. It is not right because the location is wrong. Number one, it's a temporary location. Number two, thieves, they can come in, moth and rust, they can actually destroy your treasure. Okay, now, and then it says in verse 20, this is the important one also, because he's giving us an alternative. Okay, another location. He says lay up for yourselves treasures where? In heaven. Okay, why in heaven? Because moth and rust cannot destroy. In other words, they cannot even get there. All right, because heaven doesn't have rust and moth. And also thieves, they cannot break in and steal. There is no way, it's impossible. Now, I want to maybe try and bring this to your attention. I think some of us have experienced this, and also we have used this in this way. I'm also included in that, We have used these verses for offering, and we have used these verses. The way we use them, we actually said that church building, or bringing your treasure to the church, or to the building, to the church, or even to the church, and then they take it and put it in a safe, perhaps, if they've got that, or they take it to the bank. It actually doesn't mean that if you read this in context. Okay, Jesus Christ was not talking about taking your money to church, or taking your money to the temple, or taking your money to he was not talking about literal church, like you take it to your church. No. And the reason also why I'm saying that, and also I'm against that, or also I actually think that it's wrong if you use it and you say you take your money and bring it to the church. In that way, you will be laying up yourselves treasures in heaven. No. When it says heaven, it says heaven. When it says earth, it says earth. Okay? Where is the church? The church is on earth. Where is the safe? The safe is on earth. Where is the bank? The bank is on earth. So it means that you must not lay up treasures on earth. You must not lay treasures on anything that is on earth. It doesn't say some of the parts of the earth, or excluding church. No, it says on earth. The church is on earth. That is why I am saying Jesus Christ, when he was talking here, he was not talking about the church. He was not talking about offering. No. there is something deeper here. Let me start here when I'm trying to reveal this. Treasure here, you see in verse number 19, it says treasures. There is something that actually Jesus was talking about. He was not only talking about treasures. The reason why he uses treasures to treasure, it is because he's aware that treasure can actually attract something inside of you, or it can attract something that is personal. Okay, that is in you. That is why when he starts in verse number 19, he says, lay up for yourselves. This is about you. This is going to affect you personally. So these treasures here, it includes, or it can attract something, or it can draw something that is in you personally. It will affect you personally. Now, let's find out what is this treasure, what is treasure attracts, or what it can attract, or what it can draw to itself. Okay, now in verse number 21, check this out. It says, for where your treasure is. Okay, now Jesus is going to reveal why actually you must not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, but in heaven. Okay, it is because the treasure, he says, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be. In other words, your treasure will attract your heart. Your treasure will draw your heart to where your treasure is. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Okay, now let's maybe make an example and say you decide to lay up your treasure on earth. Now, if you decide to lay your treasure on earth, what is going to happen, the Bible says the moth and the rust is going to destroy it, or it will destroy it because it's on earth. And also there's going to be thieves that are going to break in and steal their treasure. Watch this. This is very important. Now, if your treasure attracts, or if where your treasure is, then your heart is there. It means if your treasure is on earth and your heart is also on earth. And if that is the case, it means when the moth and the rust destroy your treasure, or the thieves come in and break in and steal, it means they will be stealing not only your treasure, but they will be stealing your heart, because your treasure, it attracts your heart. That is why you find people, when they lose their assets, when they lose their money, when they lose their houses, their cars, their whatever, some of them they kill themselves, some of them they end their lives, some of them they get to do other things, some of them they go crazy, some of them, you find them, doing things that are not good, some of them they end up doing nasty things or evil things because of their hearts were stolen, because of their hearts were destroyed, because of their treasure. Okay, but if your treasure is in heaven, remember your treasure attracts your heart, that means your heart is in heaven. And if it is in heaven, it is in a safe place, because there will be no moth, no rust that can destroy it. No thieves will come in and break in and steal it. All right, now that means, guys, you see here where it says in verse 19, do not lay up for yourselves treasures. I can even say, do not make the earth the source of your treasure for yourselves. Because if the source of your treasure, it is the earth, there's going to be a problem. Because if the source of your treasure is the earth, the source of your heart, then it's your earth. It's the earth. And then if the moth and the rust destroy it, or the thieves come in and break in and stealing it, all right? In other words, the source of your heart will also be destroyed, which is the earth. But if your source of your treasure is in heaven, it means the source of your heart is in heaven. And in heaven there is no moth, there is no thieves that can actually break in. Right? Now, the reason why this is important, actually, the treasure, it is because your heart it seems like your heart actually is attracted by the treasure. Okay, let me make an example. You remember a story, I think is in the book of Matthew chapter, okay, I will put it in the screen. It talks about a guy who came to Jesus and he wanted to know what he must do to actually be saved, or to be to be saved and to be in the kingdom, or to be born again, or anything like that. All right. And then Jesus Christ said, well, go and keep the commandments, do not murder, do not do that, do not do that. And then the guy said, well, I've done all of that. Okay. And then Jesus Christ said, well, take all that you own and go and sell it. And after selling it, go and give to the poor. Do you see what Jesus was trying to do? He was not actually trying to make him to do. It was not about his possessions. It was about his heart. What I believe is that he was telling him to actually show the goodness of his heart, because he said, go and sell what you have and give to the poor. In other words, go and demonstrate your love, or demonstrate that your heart is not actually the source of your treasure, is not actually on earth but is in heaven. All right. He was telling him to show the goodness of his heart by taking everything and selling it and giving it to the poor, and give to the poor. Now, the problem with the guy, he walked away because he didn't want to do that, which was an evidence that his treasure was not laid up in heaven, but it was laid up where? On earth. All right. Jesus Christ was not all about, at the time when he was talking to him, he was not trying to make him to do anything else. He was trying to show him that yes, you know the commandments, you know all these things, but your problem is your heart. It is laid up on earth. The source of your treasure, it is on earth. But if your heart was in heaven, or your treasure was laid up in heaven, you were going to do what Jesus Christ said, with an open heart, because your heart is at the right place. Because if your heart is at the right place, whatever Jesus says to you, you must do, you will do. Why? Because your heart is at the right place, which is in heaven. The other thing, guys, that is very important is this. If you say to me that Jesus Christ was referring to the church, that you bring your treasure to the church, it means that if your treasure is it's in your church, or you say the earth, you say the heaven is the church, it means your heart will be in the church, not to God, but your church, because the church is on earth, but it will still be on earth. Okay, and if the thieves come in your church and they break in and take the treasure, and they tell you that they took the treasure, you will be heartbroken, because of course you have placed it. That is why I repeat again, it is not what Jesus Christ was talking about. That is the important thing. Okay, you can look at it in different ways and try to find it. He was not talking about the church. Okay, he was talking about your heart. Okay, your heart must be in heaven. Your heart must be placed in heaven. The source of your treasure, the source of your heart must be heaven. Because if it is on earth, it will be affected badly. It will be destroyed. It will be stolen. Okay? It's easy as that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you got blessed. And please like and subscribe to the channel. That would be appreciated. Thank you so much for subscribing and also for liking the video. We appreciate it, ladies and gentlemen. And as I always close, I usually say, God bless you.